So
Yeah.
I want to ask you, Patrick, about your creative process. Obviously, again, you're a songwriter. You've written songs, and it's crazy. So I think I read nearly 70 of your songs, recorded by some big artists: Jimmy Buffett, Darius Rucker, Lady Antebellum, Jewel. I just want to ask you again about your creative process. Whenever you make a new record or you write a song, like where does it start from you? Is it kind of random? Do you set aside like specific, I don't know, writer blocks or brainstorming sessions, or is it like, do you just find inspiration naturally, just like through daily life?
It's probably all of those. It's
Right.
we do in Nashville. The Nashville is the home of the music business.
Mm,
It's like it's kind of like Silicon Valley for music.
mm,
And we do when we're writing. Everyone always thinks this is crazy, but when we're really writing songs as songwriters in Nashville, we're probably writing between 200 and 300 songs a year
yeah.
per songwriter, and that's only possible because we do what we call co-writing. So when I was a kid growing up, and when I was living in I don't know, Blossom Street in Columbia with a bunch of a bunch of drunk frat boys and college kids. I would write probably 10, 12 songs in a year because you have to find your muse, and then you got to get all these, you got to
Right.
go through all the process and make sure you sit down and do the work. But here in Nashville, we get together in groups. So like every day, like I write songs for Warner Chappell Publishing, which is Warner Brothers Records
Mm,
publishing company. So I've written songs for those guys for pretty much 15 or so years. And So what we do is, if I want to write, let's say for the next month, if I wanted to write every day, my calendar, they would put another writer. It would be me and George Rogers and Ryan Brewer are going to write a song this week. And then on Tuesday, it's me and Tanny Hill. And then on Wednesday, it's going to get crazy. It's going to be Blake Mitchell and Steven Garcia. You know what I mean? Like that's
not a
literally
lot of
how it
writing will
works.
get done that day, I don't think.
But that's same thing happens for us when we write with our actual writers.
Oh yeah.
I look at my calendar and I go, I'm going to be hammered on Thursday. Like it's that type of thing. So, but that's what that allows us to do is,
Right.
that way 3 of us are in the room together. So that's going to keep the momentum going.
So
And
do you hear the instrumental first, or you just write the lyrics and kind of like how does that work as far as like, so you're just writing the song and then you're kind of, are you how does
yeah,
that kind of shake out?
that can change either way. Last time Darius and I wrote, I had like I was playing something on guitar that I thought was cool, and I did it, and I had a title, and he's like, it wasn't, and this is a song that hasn't been, I don't know if it'll record it or not yet, but I had a title and this cool little guitar thing. He was like, oh, that's cool. So we went with that, and
Mm,
sometimes it works the exact opposite way. Sometimes whomever, it's be South Carolina people. So like I could be writing with Edwin, and Edwin will be like, I got this cool melody. I just thought of it when I was driving over here. And it could just be something that he goes, with his amazing voice, he does some crazy run, and you're like, oh, that's cool. And then you work backwards from there, but it usually starts, it really just comes out. It's almost like gifts from above. You don't really know. And
right.
sometimes songs happen in 15 minutes, and sometimes songs happen in 15 years, and there's no really rhyme or reason for which one's going to be better. I've written both of those have happened, and sometimes they're much better. The 15-minute ones are sometimes incredible, and sometimes you can realize that most of them you go, that was written in 15 minutes.
Right.
So
No, for
it's,
sure, for sure. So I want to talk about Darius a little bit because you mentioned him, obviously, that the Hootie Boy's been really good to you. But I guess that has to be really cool as far as like, first off, you just having that relationship. But again, both you guys being South Carolina alum and being able to draw inspiration from somebody that's like that close, like literally in your backyard, went to USC. Like just talk about that, getting inspiration from Darius and Hootie. And
well,
again,
those
I think
guys,
that's a cool dynamic.
yeah, they're I think we're fortunate as South Carolina Gamecocks and as South Carolinians to have those guys as ambassadors for the state, because they really are great humans.
Yeah.
Like Dean, Sony, Darius, Mark. They're all awesome, and they've also just they're a family. Like they might hate each other a lot of times, like brothers will,
Right.
but they still are a family. And even their entire operation. I mean, like I can name 25 people in their operation that I've grown up with. I've known them now since I was 18 or 19 years old. It's the same people, and that says a lot about them as humans, because they have the same people. And then also they grew up. They're not all necessarily from South Carolina, but they grew up there. That's where, Columbia is and Charleston is home for them. So it's really nice to have those guys to kind of keep you grounded, because the truth is, I know, I'm fortunate enough to be in some, circles that a lot of people would be like, oh, that's crazy. They want to know about those people. And not all of those people are wonderful humans.
Right.
A lot of them are not grounded. A lot of them are not, Darius can pick up the phone and talk to Tiger Woods or Barack Obama. If he needs to, if he can do anything he wants to, basically with his stature, but he's still Darius. He's just Darius. Like,
right.
We text during the game and we're like, what the is this shit? You know what I mean? Like but it's just like, that's normal. Like, that's our normal conversation. It's not, I don't think anything of it. It's just Darius. And that's a nice thing for me to have. And it's also great because, like I said, those were Mark Bryan. He produced my first album. When I'm going to Charleston, I'll be in Charleston on Friday, this week on Friday, doing an event for old South Carolina baseball coach Chad Holbrook.
Oh, nice.
And but I'll see Mark. We'll go to dinner. We'll probably go to Halls. Do that. I haven't been to Charleston in 8 months. So we'll do all the normal stuff that we all like to do. But it's just a nice thing. Mark's like a big brother to me, and Darius and Dean, and I don't see Dean and Sony that much other than when I'm on the road with them. But they're still, if I needed something from them or they needed something from me, we would pick up the phone and call each other like that. And that's a very nice thing to have, especially with guys like that. Because how can you not respect, what they achieved? It's hard to fathom. I think it's almost like it's not much different than in the sports world. It's like talking to George about winning a Heisman. Right. It's like I mean, we don't like to talk about it because it's Clemson, but it's what Dabo has done to get to a level with Clemson. Like, that's not a level that most people will ever get right. to. And so you have to respect that, even if it's not like, I didn't grow up listening to Hootie music. I love the Hootie Boys, but I grew up listening to, different stuff, but it's like, I still respect the shit out of them above everything else, just because I'm like, man, these guys have been to a place that few people can ever, that level of success and that level of stardom, I guess, is just a very, very, it's rarefied air.